It's Wii Wednesday, gamers, and today we're covering a homebrew game called Meg4k Man. That's right, on Wii Wednesday we get to go over a Mega Man game, so hopefully everyone is happy. This game has a very interesting story behind it as well, so stay tuned for that, and it also has very interesting gameplay, to say the least, but enough talking. Let's take a look at Meg4k Man. Now, first of all, what the heck is this game anyway? It's called Meg4k Man, so is that like ironic because it's so low quality? No, it's actually called that because this game was coded in just 4 kilobytes. I'm sure most of you understand how small that is, but for perspective, the script to my last video was 20 kilobytes, not counting the dialogue between me and Power Guy, meaning this game is a fifth of the size of that script. This is pretty crazy and really a great achievement considering this is a fully functional Mega Man game. Okay, well, there are no Robot Masters, there are only 25 rooms, not counting the final windscreen, and it looks like this, but it still works great. It even has a health bar and the return of some of the most classic enemies from the series. We have the Mets, of course, because it wouldn't be a Mega Man game without Mets. We have the insta-kill spikes, and sadly, even the Gabio walls make an appearance. And yes, they are just as bad as ever. I hate these things, and there is a reason they made many appearances in my worst Mega Man enemies video. But regardless, this is a fully functional Mega Man game coded with only 4 kilobytes of code, which is impressive. Now, this was originally coded for the PC and was actually ported to the Homebrew channel, so this wasn't made specifically for the Wii, but we'll talk more about that in a little bit. The first thing you'll notice when playing on the Wii is that this game is very fast and the controls are pretty janky. Now, controls being janky isn't something that is easy to explain, but your jump height is always the same no matter how long or short you hold the button down, and you just move way too fast. Plus, being on the Wii, sometimes it eats your inputs, which is frustrating since the level design is pretty unfair at times and requires very precise controls. You're probably going to see me die over and over again in the gameplay, but that's because it was meant to be like this and plays like a Newgrounds Flash game. Luckily, you do have infinite lives though, so as long as you hit one of the checkpoint screens, you are free to die as much as you want. There is no death counter like there would be in Super Meat Boy, for example, but there is a timer at the top of the screen in case you want to attempt speed running this game. The world record is a 118 as far as I'm aware, so if you want to see me torture myself and try to beat the world record in Meg4k Man in a live stream one day, leave a comment down below. I will probably ignore you, but it won't hurt to ask, I suppose. There's also this very weird and crazy music on the Wii, but this isn't in the original game, and it was allegedly added by Jason Shaw according to the Homebrew channel, and I wouldn't say the music is bad, but it's certainly not very fitting and it doesn't sound like Mega Man. And I've made at least 3 videos on Mega Man music, so I would know, with a 4th one on the way. Now, I will say this music is in the same genre as games like the Impossible game, which is another one of those online Flash games, and since this game does feel like one of those games, the music is fitting in that regard, but it's weird to hear music like this while playing a game that looks like Mega Man. And again, it wasn't in the original game, so I'm going to assume the Wii port is probably bigger than 4 kilobytes. Anyway, despite the janky controls, the fast gameplay, and the unfair level design, this game is actually pretty fun. It's not as good as any mainline Mega Man game, or really any Mega Man game I've ever played, but it is a fun little challenge to play through with many callbacks to the Mega Man series. Plus, it really makes you appreciate how easy some of the most challenging parts of the official Mega Man series actually are. It turns out great controls can take you a long way. Like I said though, this game has 25 rooms, and while some of them are easy, others are very unfair and stupid. For example, it took me like 15 minutes to get past this specific section just because of how many tight jumps there are in a row. But not only that, before you get to a checkpoint, you are hit with room 10, which is by far the worst room in this entire game. You gotta get past this without losing all your health, which is way harder than it seems because you die in roughly 5 or 6 hits or something. I don't actually know, but that's what it feels like. And when the game is so fast moving that it's borderline impossible to go through every single room without getting damaged, you really just have to get lucky by the time you get to this room. And that is after you make all of those stupid tight jumps in a row. So you have to make so many super tight jumps using pure skill and your power of will alone, and then you have to get lucky with this room before you get a checkpoint. But once I got past this section, I got stuck in the very next room because of yet another impossibly tight jump, but this one felt different. Luckily, this is a checkpoint room, so I could die here over and over again trying to get out, but this jump seems impossible. You have to make it across this gap without hitting your head on the ceiling spikes, and and since you aren't able to control your jump height, this is incredibly hard. After over 100 attempts of me trying this in different ways by getting a running start or hitting my head on the non-spiked ceiling and then using my momentum to get across and doing all these crazy back and forth jumps, I gave up and looked up the speed run for this game just to see how they get past this room. And it turns out the speed run had control of their jump height, which is not a luxury that I have on the Wii. Yeah, remember how I said earlier that every time you jump it's the exact same height no matter how quickly you push the button? Apparently that's not in the original game, meaning the Wii port is probably impossible to beat. I mean, maybe there is a way to get this jump on the Wii without any control of your jump height, but I'm the best Mega Man player to ever live and I couldn't do it, so I think it's safe to say the Wii port of this game is literally impossible, meaning it's time to move over to the PC port just so we could properly review this game. I realize this is turning into a Mega Man Saturday video instead of a Wii Wednesday video, but it's not my fault the Wii port is broken. Plus, I'll talk more about the Wii port and all those details in the nitty-gritty once we are done looking at the game, so stay tuned, Wii fans. Anyway, after searching for a way to download this game online, I finally found it and got to playing. And the first thing that I noticed was not only are the controls a lot better, but also the game doesn't run nearly as fast as the Wii version. Well, I guess that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the Wii version is definitely faster, which makes everything way harder, and I have no idea why that's the case, but again, we'll get into those details later. Also, the button mapping is a bit weird. I didn't change the controls because I assume you can't. I mean, maybe you can, but I didn't feel like looking into that. But anyway, you have to use the arrow keys to move, which makes sense, the space bar to shoot, and up on the arrow keys to jump. These controls aren't bad, especially for a game like this, but they're certainly a little awkward and weird, especially for Mega Man. And as someone with arthritis, it made my hands start hurting in less than 3 minutes, which could be a world record in the hurting Tooterp's hands % category. So congratulations, Meg4k Man. You might have a world record on your hands. Or on my hands. You have a world record on my hands because my hands hurt. Anyway, once I got this game running on the computer, everything became significantly easier. The jumps were still tight and it's still certainly a challenge, but instead of spending 20 minutes in 10 rooms just to get stuck on an impossible jump, I ended up finishing the game in 12 minutes and 32 seconds. And I wasn't even really trying to speedrun, I was just enjoying the game being playable. This was my first time and really only time ever beating this game. I bet I could get that time down to a sub 10 or maybe even a sub 5 if I spend like an hour on it, but unless you guys see that gameplay on your screen right now, I'm gonna save that for a live stream. Or I won't ever do it, that's also fine with me. This game hurts my hands, remember? So on the superior PC version, how good is this game? Well, it still plays like one of those Flash games, but I grew up on those, so I don't have a problem with that at all. Plus, it's Mega Man themed, which I obviously like. There is still a bit of jank with the physics and controls, but it's way better than it was on the Wii, and I actually had a good time playing this game and can see myself playing it again one day. Plus, some of the rooms are very pretty, like this purple room, for example. I love this shade of purple, and I think it's great design. Some people say the level design is unfair, and while it's maybe a little unfair in certain parts, I think having infinite lives and several checkpoints really balances things out. This may not be an official Mega Man game or even be on par with any of those, but it's still a fun little game that's worth 15 minutes of your time if you feel like checking it out. And you can even play 10 rooms worth of this game on the Wii before you get soft locked. And also it's in hard mode since everything is much faster for some reason. Again, it is a weird little game, but for being 4 kilobytes in size, this is super impressive and I had fun. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10 for what it is. But that scale is not the same scale I'd use to rate the mainline Mega Man games. That doesn't really seem fair to use. If I was on that scale, it would probably get like a 3 or a 4 out of 10, with the rest of the Mega Man games being a 6 or higher, but whatever. Now that we've taken a look at the game, I think it's finally time that we go over the mysterious story behind this game and how it was created by none other than Notch, the creator of Minecraft. Yeah, you heard that right. Notch, the creator of Minecraft, also created this game, meaning we can now refer to him as Notch, the creator of Meg4k Man. I didn't know about this until I looked into the game some more and on the PC port, but this isn't just me trolling or memeing, he really did make the PC version of this game. Apparently he's made several games under 4 kilobytes and this just happens to be one of them. I don't know how good the other games are and I have no intention of playing them, but that's a very fun fact about Notch, I guess. Well, really that's a fun fact about Mega Man 4K or Mega4k Meg4k Man, but anyway, I bet you guys weren't expecting that, huh? It's crazy that Meg4k Man was the precursor to Minecraft though. One could claim that if Notch didn't practice his Java skills with this game, Minecraft would have never existed, meaning without Meg4k Man, there is no Minecraft. But I wouldn't make that claim. Frankly, that's ridiculous. I'm just pointing out that someone could make that claim. But regardless, I still think it's crazy and really cool that this silly little Mega Man fan game was made by none other than Notch, so I hope you guys think that's as cool as I do. I guess I should have titled this video Notch's Mega Man fan game is crazy, or the Mega Man fan game made by Notch in some video essay format, but that feels a little bit clickbaity for a Wii Wednesday video, so I didn't want to do that. Anyway, now that we know this game was made by none other than Notch, I'm sure you can figure out that he is not the one who ported this game to the Wii's Homebrew channel. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that if he did make the port, then it wouldn't be broken and literally impossible to finish. The person who made this port goes by Revolution according to the Homebrew channel, and simply Rev with 3 V's on GBA Temp, where he talks about porting the game. In their GBA Temp forum post, it says that the game has to download the ROM, which is true. I do remember doing that when I opened up the game. So you would think that it would be a mostly perfect port, so I have no clue why it runs faster or doesn't allow you to jump at controlled heights. And also, for the record, I'm not hating on this guy or saying he's a bad programmer at all. I appreciate the fact that he ported this in the first place, because if it wasn't on the Wii, I would have never even known about this game. Plus, I know nothing about programming, and I wouldn't have done it any better. In fact, I'd do worse. I wouldn't be able to do it at all. So my critiques towards the Wii ports are not directed at this guy directly, but they were definitely too noticeable for me not to mention in this video to you guys, if that makes sense. I'm sure it has something to do with the Java emulator that the Wii is using, if I had to guess, and I have no idea if this guy made that from scratch or if he's just using another one, but this is all just guessing, and I'm very happy the port was made to begin with. Though if you are watching this video with 3 V's, I saw that you made an update supporting more controllers after a request, so I am formally putting in my own request for an update where you can play past Room 10. That would be nice, and I would appreciate that. And again, maybe it is possible to get past Room 10 with a crazy jump, or maybe another Wii controller actually lets you have variable jumping height, but from my own experience, the Wii port is sadly impossible to finish. But to be fair, this is a fan-made Wii port of a fan-made Java game. I don't think it's fair to judge this as if it's some kind of AAA WiiWare, so I don't want anyone roasting old Revava with 3 V's in the comment section. From what I understand, this person has done a lot of different things for Wii Homebrew and other hacking things in general. On the PC version of Meg4k Man, for example, I had to play this in windowed mode, but going through their forum post, they figured out a way to make it full screen, which makes up for the fact that it's unplayable on the Wii. Unfortunately, I already beat the game in this tiny little window when I found that out, but it's still cool that they forced the game into full screen through command prompt. I mean, what a pro gamer move. Though, I guess that's a programmer move, but anyway, according to GBA Temp, they are a well-known member, so they clearly know their stuff. But GBA Temp also claims they're a newcomer, so whatever, I'll just ignore the newcomer part. I just had to make this video though, especially after finding everything out about this game, so I hope you've enjoyed this rabbit hole. I thought this was just some silly fan game made directly for the Wii, but it turns out this was a silly fan game made directly by the creator of Minecraft, which was then ported to the Wii using some complicated methods I don't understand. Plus, if we ignore that this game is impossible to complete, it's actually a pretty fun time. It's not the most fun game in the world, and if you aren't a fan of those cheap Flash games or Mega Man, you might not personally enjoy it, but as someone who enjoys both, I had a really good time. The only thing that would have made this better, other than, you know, not being impossible to beat, is if it was on Newgrounds, but this was made in Java and not Flash. But that's a classic Notch move for you though, I guess, right? Get it? Because Minecraft was also made in Java? Well, that is Meg4k Man and the story behind how it was developed and then ported to the Wii. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope my Mega Man fans enjoyed a Wii Wednesday video for once. Even though really you should watch and enjoy all of my Wii Wednesday videos because they are canon episodes of Tooterp, so you shouldn't miss a single one. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed either way, because I certainly did. Well, I at least enjoyed learning about Meg4k Man and how it was developed by Notch and everything, but playing it was a different story. I mean, the game's impossible. You can't beat it on the Wii. What more can I say about that?